Welcome, my name is Bernie, and I'd like to do a song for you called Burn For You by Jonathan Ogden and David Brymer. Back in 1978, there was a large one-day music festival held at the Blackbush Aerodrome in Camberley in Surrey in the UK. The gig was called The Picnic and it was headlined by Bob Dylan. 1978 was a significant year for Dylan, as his tour of the UK that year was the first time he'd played here since his controversial tour of 1966, where he'd put his acoustic guitar away and picked up an electric guitar, and that hadn't gone down too well with his audience, famously particularly those at the Free Trade Hall in Manchester. But this Blackbush gig was a real milestone for Bob Dylan. He was reputedly paid £1 million for this single performance, which was the first time anybody had been paid such a large amount for a single gig. But also it remains the largest ever paying audience that Dylan has played to, and also it was the longest set of songs that Dylan has played in his career to date. And I was fortunate enough to be there. It really was an amazing concert. Dylan was at the height of his powers. He was singing so powerfully, and he had an amazing 11-piece band with him. When Dylan received the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2016, in his acceptance speech, he said something on the lines of, "Just as a Shakespeare play should be seen rather than just read, so a songwriter's song should be heard." And when I read those words, it reminded me of the powerful performance that he had at the Blackbush gig. A year later, in 1979, Dylan released an album called Slow Train Coming, and this was a gospel album, and Dylan was announcing to the world of his Christian spiritual awakening, and as I understand it, he spent 3 months on a discipleship course at a Vineyard church in the States. The year after that, he released an album called Saved, which was another gospel album, and the year after that, another album called Shot of Love. And as for me, as a young Christian, I became a Christian in 1977 when I was 16, to have a songwriter and musician of the calibre of Bob Dylan singing songs on a spiritual level really was fantastic for me, and I really loved those albums. The last track on the album Saved is a song called Are You Ready? And one of the verses Dylan says or sings, "Are you ready to meet Jesus? Are you where you ought to be? Will he know you when he sees you? Or will he say, 'Depart from me'?" And Dylan is really quoting Jesus' own words directly from the New Testament and Matthew 7, if you'd like to have a read of it for yourself. But that song really struck me as being particularly powerful. And I'm often reminded how important it is for us all to be ready for Jesus' second coming when he comes in all of his glory. Dylan decided to tour the Shot of Love album, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity to go and see him whilst he was singing these gospel sets. And I was fortunate enough to get some tickets for myself and some friends to see one of his performances at the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham. And obviously I was really looking forward to the gig, and I got really good tickets as well. They were row G right near the front. About 2 weeks before the gig, I was prescribed an antibiotic by my doctor. I remember taking the first capsule late one night before I went to bed. And I woke up in the middle of the night feeling extremely strange. I didn't know what was going on, but something wasn't right. And as I got out of bed and put my feet down on the floor, I got this really excruciating pain through the soles of my heels right up into my legs. And as I staggered into the bathroom, I glanced in the mirror and I didn't recognise myself. And my whole head and face had swollen up, my lips, my ears, my nose, my cheeks, my forehead, and my eyelids. And really, I looked like John Hurt's depiction of the Elephant Man in David Lynch's movie. And obviously, I had suffered an extreme allergic reaction to the antibiotic. And I was pretty ill. I was signed off work for a couple of weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, I was feeling a lot better. All the swelling had gone down. And I was ready to go back to work the following week when my sick note expired. And the Saturday of the gig came, and my friend Pete Walker came to pick me up. And just as I was about to walk out the door, I was collared by my mum. I was still living at home at the time. And she said, "Do you really think you should be going to this concert when you've not been working and you've been off work sick?" I didn't really agree with her assessment of the situation. But then my dad joined in as well. And one of them said something on the lines of, "What would Jesus do?" And I suddenly felt very challenged. I was reminded that Jesus said, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. And I knew that one of the 10 commandments was to honour your father and mother. And I suddenly felt in this situation where God was asking me to think about obedience to my parents, but also my parents were testing me to see whether my faith was real or not. And I turned around to my friend Pete and I said, I'm sorry, Pete, I can't come. And so they went to the concert without me. For the rest of the day I felt pretty terrible. As I say, I didn't really believe in the decision that my parents had made was a correct one. But deep down inside I knew I'd done the right thing. Jesus said it's really important that we should be ready for his return. He's told many parables about this. One of the most famous ones is found in Matthew 25, and it's the parable of the 10 virgin bridesmaids. And in the parable, these bridesmaids have been asked to officiate at a wedding, and they've been given a particular job to do. They had to bring lamps with them, and the bridal party was going to arrive late in the evening, and they needed to be ready to light their lamps for this occasion. And the party was delayed. They all got tired, they all fell asleep, and then suddenly a cry went out, the bridegroom is arriving. And so 5 of the bridesmaids were prepared and they lit the lamps, but 5 of the other bridesmaids for some reason had not prepared for the bridegroom's arrival, and they had to rush off to try and get oil for their lamps. And when they arrived back, they found that the wedding party had started, and they knocked on the door, but the bridegroom said to them, "You can't come in, I don't know you," which obviously echoes Jesus' earlier words that I've already mentioned. And also it reminds me of Dylan's song as well, "Are You Ready?" And so I think that this next song that I'd like to do for you was particularly inspired by this parable of the bridesmaids in Matthew 25, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for listening. Oh Lord, would you open the heavens? Oh Lord, come and make all things new. I will keep watching and praying as my soul longs only for you. So I'm gathering wood for the fire, I'm filling my lamp with the oil. Oh Lord, in the season awaiting, let my heart burn only for you. Wake me up from my slumber, God. Fill my heart with your fire, God. 'Cause I want to burn for you. Wake me up from my slumber, God. Fill my heart with your fire, God. 'Cause I want to burn for you. I know you will come like you promised. I know you will come like the rain. So I will keep watching and praying as my soul longs only for you. So I'm gathering wood for the fire, I'm filling my lamp with the oil. Oh Lord, in the season of waiting, let my heart burn only for you. Let my heart burn only for you. Wake me up from my slumber, God. Fill my heart with your fire, God. 'Cause I want to burn I want to burn for you. Wake me up from my slumber, God. Fill my heart with your fire, God. 'Cause I want to burn, I want to burn for you. I return to you, 'cause you are my first love. I return to you, 'cause you are my first love. I return to you, 'cause you are my first love. I return to you. Wake me up from my slumber, God. Fill my heart with your fire, God. 'Cause I want to burn, I want to burn for you. Wake me up from my slumber, God. Fill my heart with your fire, God. 'Cause I want to burn, I want to burn